Good afternoon, everyone. We're here today to address some critical points raised in a recent paper by Al-Ameen et al. Our work provides a rigorous response to their inquiries into the foundation of special relativity. We'll be presenting our findings from Bauman Moscow State Technical University. Let's begin by outlining the specific objections we'll be addressing. This presentation will delve into the mathematical and physical underpinnings of special relativity. We aim to clarify common misconceptions and reinforce the theory's robustness. We're here to directly engage with the critical inquiries Al-Ameen et al. 2024 have raised regarding special relativity. Their paper questions two fundamental aspects of the theory. First, they challenge the mathematical validity of deriving Newtonian kinetic energy from the binomial expansion. And second, they dispute the applicability of Einstein's E=mc² to nuclear fission. Our response provides a rigorous mathematical and physical refutation. We base this on the correspondence principle and standard nuclear physics. We'll start by establishing the theoretical bedrock for our arguments. The correspondence principle is a cornerstone of modern physics, ensuring consistency across theories. It dictates that relativistic equations must seamlessly reduce to their Newtonian forms when velocities are much smaller than the speed of light. This principle isn't just an arbitrary rule, it's a fundamental requirement for any new theory to be considered valid. It establishes the analytical link between Einsteinian and Newtonian mechanics. We'll now see how this principle plays out in the mathematical derivation of energy. Building on the correspondence principle, we can rigorously derive the total energy equation using a Taylor series expansion. The Lorentz factor gamma expands into a series of terms. This expansion clearly shows the spectral decomposition of total energy. The first order term, mc², represents the rest energy and intrinsic property of mass. The second order term, 1/2 mv², precisely requires the Newtonian kinetic energy, demonstrating that classical mechanics is indeed a low energy limit of a special relativity. Higher order terms then provide the relativistic corrections, which are crucial for high precision physics. Now let's address a common misunderstanding about this expansion. Al-Ameen et al. Claim that this binomial expansion implies an implicit addition of velocities to c, which would violate relativistic principles. This assertion, however, stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of dimensional analysis. The expansion is strictly in terms of the dimensionless parameter beta², which is v² over c². There is no additive velocity operation occurring here. Perturbative expansions are a standard and rigorous method in the theoretical physics, linking general theories to their limiting cases. We'll next examine how this understanding applies to nuclear fission. We now address the objection that E=mc² is problematic for nuclear fission, because fragments move at non-relativistic speeds. This perspective fundamentally misunderstands the origin of fission energy. The energy released in fission, the Q value, is determined by the mass defect, which is the difference between the parent nucleus rest mass and the sum of the product nuclei's rest masses. This is an explicitly relativistic quantity. The equation E=mc² explains the source of this energy, representing the conversion of mass into energy. Conversely, the kinetic energy term, 1/2 mv², describes how that energy is transported by the fragments. The Q-value equation, Q=delta mc², is exact and independent of the product velocities. The distinction is crucial for understanding nuclear processes. We will now demonstrate this quantitatively with a specific example. Building on our discussions of mass defects, let's examine a quantitative demonstration using uranium-235 fission. Here we observe the reaction where uranium-235 absorbs a neutron and fissions into barium-144, krypton-89, and three neutrons. We precisely calculate the total initial mass of the reactants and the total final mass of the products. The critical insight is the mass difference or mass defect, which amounts to 0.186017 atomic mass units. The mass defect directly translates to an energy yield of 173.0 MeV, calculated using E equals mc squared. This providing a robust empirical validation for E equals mc squared as the governing framework for nuclear energy. This evidence directly refutes claims that E equals mc squared is inapplicable to fission. Next, we will explore the fundamental reality of rest energy itself. Following our quantitative demonstration, we now turn to the fundamental reality of rest energy, where velocity is zero. The total energy of a particle is given by the Hamiltonian formulation E squared equals pc squared plus mc squared squared. When a particle is at rest, its momentum p is zero, simplifying the equation to E equals mc squared. This demonstrates that mass itself is a reservoir of energy, not merely an inert quantity. Experimental evidence such as pair annihilation, where an electron and positron convert 100% of their mass into gamma rays, unequivocally proves this. Furthermore, insights from quantum chromodynamics reveal that 99% of a nucleon's mass originates from the internal kinetic and potential energy of the constituent quarks and gluons. This confirms that mass is a manifestation of internal energy independent of bulk motion. We will now address a common misconception regarding relativistic mass. Having established the reality of rest energy, we must now clarify the misconception surrounding relativistic mass. Modern physics defines mass m as invariant scalar. It doesn't increase with velocity. Instead, as velocity approaches the speed of light, it is the energy and momentum that diverge to infinity, not the mass. This divergence at v equals c acts as a physical barrier, preserving causality. It implies that an infinite amount of energy would be required to accelerate any massive particle to the speed of light. This fundamental limit ensures that no information or matter can travel faster than c. The binomial expansion we discussed earlier remains valid within its radius of convergence, which is for velocities less than c. We will next examine the consistency of the Lorentz factor in defining kinetic energy. We've discussed how the Lorentz factor prevents infinite mass. Now let's see how it consistently defines kinetic energy. This slide demonstrates that the relativistic kinetic energy naturally emerges from the work energy theorem without any circular reasoning. The mathematical derivation shows that the work done on a particle directly equates to the changes on its relativistic kinetic energy. It confirms that the Lorentz factor is an intrinsic part of how energy and momentum behave in special relativity. This consistency further solidifies the framework, leading us to our overall conclusions. We've explored several key areas, and this slide summarizes our findings, reinforcing the robustness of special relativity. The correspondence principle, rigorously demonstrated through binomial expansion, shows how Newtonian mechanics is a limiting case of Einstein's theory. We've also established that E equals mc squared is the uh, correct and only framework for understanding nuclear energy yields, rooted in the mass defect. Finally, we've shown the rest energy is a fundamental physical reality, not a theoretical construct. Ultimately, perceived inconsistencies often stem from the conceptual misunderstandings, not flaws in the theory itself. With these points in mind, let's look at the sources that informed our discussions. This slide lists the key references that underpin our analysis and response. We've drawn upon foundational works by Einstein and modern texts in physics and nuclear physics. These sources provide the rigorous theoretical and experimental backing for our arguments. We also acknowledge the paper by Al-Ameen et al., which prompted this detailed examination. Thank you for your attention. We welcome any questions you may have.